Good morning. Thank you, Magnus Group, for inviting me over to share my paper with you. This paper is actually still underway for submission for publication, and I'm hoping that this can actually be published because I did this paper last year as part of my requirements as a cardiology fellow in the Philippines. And I was actually able to present this as well in our own local society, in the Philippine Heart Association. I made it to the top 5 finalists during that time. Thank you. So, good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Marc Jason Ng. I'm from Cardinal Santos Medical Center in the Philippines, and my topic for today is entitled The Effect of SGLT2 Inhibitors on the Ejection Fraction in Acute Myocardial Infarction, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. Sorry. Is there presenter's view? Sorry, I was not informed beforehand that the PowerPoint layout did not have a presenter's view. So for the introduction, background and objectives of my study, currently we are using the SGLT2 inhibitors for type 2 diabetes treatment. And then lately, Sorry. So these SGLT2 inhibitors, as we know, they initially came out in the market and were targeted as a new armamentarium for the treatment of type 2 diabetes by virtue of targeting one of the ominous octets as enshrined. Later on, the researchers then found that there are pleiotropic effects that extended towards cardiovascular protection, initially in type 2 diabetic patients with ASCVD risk, and subsequently in heart failure patients as well, even those without diabetes. A plethora of research then later on ensued that continued to prove the class effect that was brought about by these drugs. So SGLT2 inhibitors are now currently indicated for the prevention of heart failure in those at risk, but without structural heart disease, as listed in the trials here. They're now also indicated for the treatment of heart failure, both in the outpatient and the inpatient setting, as listed by the trials that we have over there. But what's still a matter of debate right now is whether, as seen in the two conflicting results released by the recently published MPACT-MI and the DAPA-MI trial, is whether they have a role in the setting of acute myocardial infarction without an established baseline of heart failure. This is another table that shows the spectrum of FDA-approved benefits provided by these drugs. Noticeably, the use of SGLT2 inhibitors is still not established in the setting of acute myocardial infarction. So for the objectives of my study, in general, it's to determine the effect of using the SGLT2 inhibitors on the ejection fraction of patients who have acute myocardial infarction. Specifically, I wanted to determine whether initiating SGLT2 inhibitors within 2 weeks after an acute MI can help reduce the change in ejection fraction associated after infarction after a follow-up of 3 to 6 months. This follow-up period is in accordance with guidelines on imaging after MI, a baseline of within 24 to 48 hours after MI, and a follow-up within 3 months as done after as a post-infarction assessment of cardiac function. So for my methodology, I did a quick literature review on PubMed, Google Scholar, Cochrane, and Herndon. The inclusion criteria were that these studies had to be RCTs, and these had to be hospitalized adult patients 18 years old and above with acute MI. There was use of an SGLT2 inhibitor as an intervention, and these had data on LVEF as one of the outcomes. Additionally, I excluded any recent clinical trials that involve or that included patients with an LV ejection fraction of less than or equal to 40% at the outset upon initiation of the study. And then I also excluded any clinical trials that already included patients with heart failure symptoms upon admission. So for the exclusion criteria, non-RCT trials, animal studies, and those with incomplete data on outcome were excluded. The following were the 5 papers that I used for my meta-analysis. There was a heterogeneous pool of studies that were picked with a range of participants from 42 to 476. The dosage of the SGLT2 inhibitors varied among the trials that were included, but the basis for including all of them as of the time of writing was because of the increasing body of evidence among diabetics and non-diabetic experimental cases that in acute MI disease models, there were multiple cardiovascular benefits from SGLT2 inhibition as a class effect. This was my Haddad score table for the clinical trials. Notably, the study done by London et al. Did not describe in detail the method of randomization that they used, nor did they report the total number of withdrawals and dropouts, hence the Haddad score of 3. This was a funnel plot that was generated by plotting the mean difference outcome for each trial on the x-axis against a standard error on the y-axis. The funnel plot showed a symmetric pattern with studies on both sides, indicating that there was a lesser likelihood of publication bias with the selected studies. So on to the results. A total of 5 RCTs were included in this study with a total population of 807 patients. Majority of participants enrolled in each clinical trial were male. The age range of these participants were between 45 years old to 74 years old, with a heterogeneous distribution of comorbidities such as type 2 diabetes, previous history of stroke, and smoking history across each trial. Compared to the patients enrolled in the clinical trial, in the EMI trial, the trial by Adol et al. And the Dakami trial, the median age of the patients enrolled in the Sokogami and the Embody trial were older. Similarly, as you can see across the table here, the baseline LV ejection fraction in the experimental group versus the control group was noticeably bigger. So this is my forest plot. There was noted improvement in the SGLT2 inhibitor groups after the follow-up period and this was found to be significantly greater by 1.61% with a 95 confidence interval of 0.50 and a p-value of less than 0.01. There was minimal heterogeneity within the data. The p is more than 0.05 and the I-squared value was 12%. An analysis of the subgroups showed that the group of articles which excluded post-PCI patients had a greater mean difference of 2.28 with a 95% confidence interval of negative 3.71 and a p-value of more than 0.05. But due to the wide confidence intervals and substantial heterogeneity, the result was ultimately deemed non-significant. When we did look at the groups studies that included those with PCI intervention, the mean difference between the experimental group and the control group was 1.67, and this value was noted to be significant and heterogeneous. Our study also tried to study the effect of limiting the study only in trials that included diabetic patients. This was done by eliminating the Dakami trial, and the results showed that there was still a significant difference in the LV ejection fraction by 1.74% with a 95 confidence interval of 0.35 and a p-value of 0.01. The result was still noted to be minimally heterogeneous with an I-squared value of 24%. So in conclusion, we noted that the SGLT2 inhibitors had a statistically significant effect on the improving LVEF in the setting of acute MI. The results were also consistent because there was minimal heterogeneity in the overall results of the study. In a subgroup analysis, there also revealed that post-PCI patients had more consistent and significant results with SGLT2 inhibitors compared to non-PCI patients. Thank you for this opportunity.